Hello again, everyone. Edwin Leonard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my review and critique of a very popular astrological book series, and it's called The Only Way to Learn Astrology, and I'm going to be talking about it volumes 1, 2, and 3. And really, as the other two books that I've talked about, very provocative, very insightful. This is a classic series um, written by Marion D. March and Joan McIvers. Very systematic approach. It's very comprehensive and easy to understand, written very eloquently, and it's in a very understandable and very lucid way as well. Now, Volume 1 talks about the basic principles and fundamentals of astrology, talks about meanings of signs and symbols, planets and houses, and planets and the signs, and how to blend the planets and the signs and houses. And this is published in 1976, and this is one of those classics that certainly transcends time. And this is a very, very good book. And really, this is something that is very good. If I'm not mistaken, it also had the aspects between planets as well, and it really this is obviously something for the charlatan, someone that is beginning astrology and that is seeking the rudimentary knowledge can very well get this book and will really help them immensely. I do recommend it. Now, Volume 2, I guess you could say this is kind of like you're approaching that intermediate stage of astrology. It tells you how to mathematically calculate a chart and get the signs on the house cusp and show everything with the planets and the houses. Now, and really, the thing about that is still good for those that don't really go on the computer much, I guess. But now, as you know, they got all kinds of software and online websites that help facilitate this process of actually calculating astrological charts. So you could still, find this useful if you're not one that's really that computer savvy and you don't go on the internet frequently. Now, it also goes into decans and dwads. It talks about aspects to the ascendant and to the midheaven. It talks about signs on the cusp of houses, and it tells you how to do like a natal chart overview or overlay, and what you're going to look for in doing this. What are the significant points when you're doing this overview or overlay, which is like a summarization of a chart. So, and this was published in 1977. I remember reading these books back in I think it was around 85 or so, or 1984, and I just remember really reading it like it was yesterday. Really good part of my astrological history, and it's something that I'll never forget. What I stated before about being a timeless classic, it certainly is. And now, also, in Volume 3, it talks about the house rulers and such as, like, for example, the ruler of the sixth house in the third and what it means. So it goes through the house rulers in this book, and in this series really is like it's almost like having an at-home astrology class. It's like having that teacher conveying to you how to learn astrology and assimilate various parts of it and really put the pieces together in a very understandable and very clear way where it's not too complicated to comprehend and grasp. It's very this book is just written so well. This was one of this series right here really helped me immensely in terms of aiding me in my own chart interpretations. So really, this is something that really I would recommend this series for anybody that is interested in astrology, and especially if you're starting to learn and you're embarking on your mission, so to speak, to learn this subject of astrology, and you want to start learning the fundamentals, and you want to eventually delineate and analyze astrological horoscopes, I do recommend this series. And this is like a book that transcends time, and it's superseded my expectations big time. One of the best astrology series ever written, I believe. And also, there were other volumes as well. I did not read volumes 4, 5, and 6. Volume 4 is entitled The Only Way to Learn About Tomorrow. It talks about transits, progressions, and solar lunar returns and directions. And that was written in 1989. Volume 5 is The Only Way to Learn About Relationships. That was published in 1992, and it talks about compatibility and synastry in astrology. Now, Volume 6 talks about, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, Horary, or I think it's Horary in electional astrology. That came out in 1994. So those are something I honestly did not read volumes 4, 5, and 6, but I am sure they're compelling. I'm sure it has. They are. If the first 3 books in volumes in the series are any indicators, the volumes 4, 5, and 6 have to be are obviously, and I believe are going to be superlative as well. So I would recommend reading them. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my review / critique of The Only Way to Learn Astrology series. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be continuing my zodiac sign or astrological sign compatibility series. 2 things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.